Anchors up, sails at full. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
All right, Jared, how are you doing today?
Doing good. We have a lot to do today. New tradition, good tradition. That was a good one.
All right, week 5. Here we are, week 5 already, Jared.
Absolutely.
These seasons just keep flying by. This year's no different here. All right, so let's take a look. Waste no time updating our tier list. S, A, B, C, and M tier.
Yep.
S tier, we had Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and Miami.
No changes.
I would say no changes.
No one's definitely no one's going down, and I don't feel like moving anyone up either.
I agree. I can't think of anybody that's worth moving up there. So,
can I do a quick I told you so about Texas Tech? I've been asking you to move Texas Tech up for several weeks, and I think they proved themselves this past week.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough. A tier. Texas, Georgia, LSU, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Florida State, Texas Tech, and I believe we had Tulane up there as well.
We did in fact have Tulane. We should probably move Tulane down. But we have to have a fifth conference champion present in at least A tier. So yeah, maybe we should move Tulane down, but who do we replace him with? We could put USF back up there, but they had very similar, very bad losses. It's just that Tulane's is more recent. We could look all the way down to C tier, where we have North Texas, we have Old Dominion, we have Memphis, we have UNLV. I think there could be some cases made maybe for Memphis.
Hear me out.
Hearing you out.
I'm looking here. I'm trying to see if they have any love.
Spike's also listening you out.
Maybe not many. Maybe not many in the very outdated AP coaches polls. But what about the Mean Green of North Texas? 4-0.
I did
4-0.
I did.
They have wins over Western Michigan, Washington State, and Army.
Okay. None of those are all that impressive, to be fair.
No, but they don't have a terrible loss, and they're sitting there
fair,
tied for first in their conference. And if you're looking for someone in a conference outside of the Big Four, I don't really see anything else. Like, I would love to have a MAC, but I don't see any MACs making it out.
Realistic.
Mountain West. Best one there is maybe Fresno State, but they had a bad loss in week 1 to Kansas.
Mountain West is not going to deliver.
And no to the Pac-12, the Pac-2.
Yeah, that's not happening.
And the Sun Belt has a ton of losses. The Sun Belt has a ton of losses. That kind of really it seems like it's the American. It seems like it's the American conference that's most likely at this stage to get that auto bid. So I'm looking who's leading the American.
Spikes wants us to put the Bulls back up, which they got destroyed by Miami. And we can have conversations back and forth about they have the best wins. They clearly have the best wins, but they also got slaughtered by Miami.
Who did they beat?
They played 3 straight, at least ranked at the time schools.
At the time, okay.
Right. Florida has since lost 2 additional games. And Yeah, and Boise also doesn't look quite as...
Yeah, Boise doesn't look all that great. They struggled against Air Force I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, but they haven't looked great at all. I understand the love for USF. Understand they have a couple of wins that looks good on paper, but
yeah,
how good really is Boise State? How good really is Florida? Florida's offense is just a disaster. Defense, yes, outstanding defense. But offense, yeah, just
right. I don't want to spend all day picking the 12th team or the fifth conference just so they can turn around and lose again next week. So I don't want to spend too much more time on this. I think Memphis, North Texas, and South Florida have the best, but very different cases.
Okay, so who do you say, Jared? Then
let's go with Memphis. But we might change that next week. Let's be real, and we can move Tulane down.
All right. B tier. Is there anybody worth moving down out of B tier?
Well, first, before we do that, we decided not to move USF up, so we can we can get them out of the way. Alabama and maybe even more so Indiana. Indiana had a hell of a showing last week.
Who would you move out?
That's the problem.
To put Indiana.
That's the problem. I don't see anyone who I want to demote to put Indiana in, but Indiana is also pretty damn deserving. Indiana feels like the very top class of B tier right now. Quite frankly, I kind of think Texas A&M is overrated. I think there's some overrated teams up there, but I don't know if I'm willing to. I think Oklahoma's overrated. I think these things will probably play themselves out. Quite frankly, I kind of would rather have Indiana up there than Oklahoma. So if you're making me choose, Oklahoma would be the team I drop out.
Yeah,
now that they lost their quarterback, you can drop OU. I don't know if I want to preemptively punish them. That feels unfair to me.
If a team slips, Indiana tentatively could go into A tier. So yeah, I would agree. I think,
but you're not going to let me drop Oklahoma.
Yeah, yep. They're right there. They're right there. We'll see what Oklahoma does, but yeah, with their quarterback being out for the unforeseeable future.
It's pretty. He had hand surgery. It's pretty foreseeable. I think he's gone for the year. Is it his throwing hand? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We move forward. We don't have time for this. Teams dropping out of B tier. Illinois got slaughtered by Indiana. Utah stuck in it for a while against Texas Tech, and then things really fell apart at the end for them.
Mm-hmm.
And South Carolina, I don't know if I want to spend the time making the case for M tier today, but there's a case to M tier them.
Did they have expectations? Because I didn't.
Yeah. I think they were preseason top, maybe not 10, but they were close to the top 10 preseason AP.
They were 13th.
Yeah, pretty close.
At the start of the season.
So yes, we didn't have expectations. There was a lot of hype around Sellers. There was a lot of there was a lot of hype there. You and I didn't in particularly buy into it. In the same way, we didn't really buy into the Illinois hype either. You and I have been telling everyone to slow their roll on Illinois since the beginning of August.
What do you say, Z Spikes? Do you think they go in M tier? I don't think it's because I didn't have expectations for South Carolina.
He says not, but they're definitely not B tier any longer.
No,
that we can agree
not
on.
B tier. They're not B tier. Utah. Gosh, what do we do with the Utah? Do we keep them in B tier? Do we Do we put them down to C tier?
Do we think the Big 12? Do we think the Big 12 is going to place more than one team?
Gosh, I think at this point, no.
Kyle, I really think that I honestly asked that in a very rhetorical sense, because the answer is no.
They need a lot of help to get 2 in, and those 2 is going to be it's Texas Tech and Iowa State right now.
Well, there's Iowa State, there's BYU, there's Arizona State. I think there's a lot of teams in the conversation before Utah at this point.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'd just say put them in C tier for right now.
Yeah,
Same thing with Illinois. Illinois, such a terrible loss. Illinois. That's
they don't. I don't think they have the schedule to come back in a convincing way either, especially in a competitive Big 12.
They need a big win against Ohio State, which I don't see. So keep them in C tier. I think that's fine. Anybody else to move down up to B tier or maybe down to M tier?
Georgia Tech has a lot of hype right now. I personally think they're wildly overrated. I don't think they are deserving. I think the AP has them at 16 right now. I think that's wildly overhyped if you look at their wins and how they've won them. However, they have a really weak. Austin was pointing this out in the Discord server today. And while I do not like Georgia Tech, it has to be pointed out that they are the only, there's only 3 teams in the ACC currently ranked. Georgia Tech is one of them, and Georgia Tech does have a pretty soft schedule ahead of them. So it's entirely possible they sneak into the ACC conference game. You maybe get an upset. Yep. I think that's kind of definitionally the bubble, even though I don't actually like them that much.
Yeah, I think they have to be in the bubble. I really do think they have to, just because of their schedule. So, yeah, I think a B tier.
Schedule and weak conference.
Yep. Okay.
We could talk about TCU, but I don't think we need to make that case this week. We could talk about Michigan. I don't think we need to make that case this week.
What about Syracuse win? What about Syracuse win over? Yeah. Okay.
Everyone's beating Clemson. Who cares? It doesn't mean anything anymore. We could talk about USC. I don't feel a ton of urgency to move USC up. Same with Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
We could talk about Vanderbilt, but I don't have a ton of urgency to move them up personally.
Well, let's say USC wins this weekend in Champaign. Maybe then they can move up to B tier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they're a team that belongs. So this if you're watching the YouTube version of this, over on the right, I have some teams sort of isolated from the rest of the grouping. I've started to, in my head, affectionately refer to this as C+. These are the C+ teams.
I don't think there's really anybody else from what I'm seeing here. There's some teams that they can move their way up, but they need to prove it on the field first. I know some people are looking well, what about Vanderbilt? They've been taking care of business. They're undefeated. Yeah. Sure, but
competitive SEC though.
Yep.
I really don't see them on the playoff bubble. When it's just the road ahead's, I think, too bumpy for them.
Alabama, LSU, Texas, and Tennessee on their schedule still.
Right. I just listen. Maybe we'll see, but
sure.
The thing is, do I think Vanderbilt's better than Georgia Tech? Yes, I do. But the schedule ahead of them, the talent needed to make it to the playoff is unfortunately totally different.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're good on the tier list for now, Kyle.
I think we're good. I think this is good, and Clemson stays in M tier.
Kyle, in the, I don't know how long we've been doing the tier list at this point. We've only ever once had a team earn their way back out of M tier. It was LSU either last year or the year before. We don't take teams back out of M tier lightly.
All right, I think that's it. We'll go ahead and lock them in there, and we'll take our first ad break. TheSloopcast.com is your go-to link for anything and everything Slipcast related. You can find our Patreon, Discord, merch, Spotify, YouTube. Did I mention Discord? Maybe I did. I'll mention it again. Discord.thesloopcast.com. You can find all those links and more over at thesloopcast.com. Take our first ad break and be right back.
All right, Kyle, it's time to do some sloop picks. But first, let's look at the scoreboard. Kyle, you...
I don't think that's
backwards. Right. I did that backwards.
I don't think that's
you
right,
had
Jared.
You had 5, I had 3. I messed this up. The second I looked at it, I know I messed it up. Last week you had 5, I had 3. So go ahead and swap those around in your head and adjust the score accordingly. I'm not up by 1. Kyle's up by, well, it would be 2. 3. So yeah. But we're both still ahead of our guest pickers. And Suncard won the web picks last week, making up for that 1 point performance from when he was the highlighted guest picker. Guest picking today will be Odin from the Discord. And I'll make sure to fix that before next week.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first game we're going to talk about, I guess you have Washington, Ohio State up there. We will cover more about that. I did do it, didn't I?
We normally put Washington and Ohio, or we normally put the Ohio State game on the bottom, but you did this, and I just decided to let you. I'm like, maybe Kyle has a reason for doing it like this, and I just rolled with it.
Yeah. Well, when CBS locked them in here, Ohio State is a 9.5 point favorite over Washington. I think since then, Jared, I think as of recording, it's down to 8.5.
I think it was down to 7 at one point, although I don't know if it's still there.
Yeah. Why is it dropping?
Because a bunch of money's coming in on the other side. Is typically why. No, it's just, okay, once again, Vegas is not a reflection of reality. Vegas is a reflection of people's opinion. If something starts at 9.5 and everyone starts throwing money at the underdog, then Vegas goes, oh, we put too much on the underdog. So then they start to move the number down, because at the end of the day, Vegas just wants it to go as close to 50-50 as possible so they can just collect on fees. That's what they want to do. It will be raining though. That's fine.
All right.
I'm not worried.
So we're just gonna pick them here. We'll go more into it in the next episode. But I have Ohio State covering.
I also have Ohio State covering. What does Odin have to say?
I think you put it in my direct messages.
I sure did.
You did. I need a copy and put that in. He has the Buckeyes to cover.
If you want more detailed, what is magical format Odin used? Oh, we'll send it to you. He didn't specifically say it was okay for public display, so I'm not going to public display it, but it's goofy.
I'll share it afterwards to you. It's these spikes.
Yeah. But yeah, if you want more in-depth thoughts on Ohio State versus Washington, make sure to watch our Thursday episode. Know your enemy.
All right. Let's move on here. Florida State heading on over to Virginia. Florida State is a 7.5 point favorite in this game. Who do you got in this one, Jared?
I'll be honest, Kyle, looking down through these lines, a lot of these lines don't make sense to me.
Yep.
And
I would agree.
That probably means I'm going to have a terrible week. That probably means that there's like a lot of traps out there and that I'm going to walk straight into those traps. But screw it. I'm going on instinct here. 7.5, Kyle, that is not enough.
I agree. That is not enough. I will take Seminoles for the cover as well.
Exactly, Spikes.
All right, next up, we have USC.
What about Odin?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Odin. Odin has his vote for the Seminoles as well.
See, this is a bad sign. This is just a bad sign.
USC on the road, as I mentioned earlier, on the road to Champaign.
Yeah.
Champaign. 6.5 point favorite for the Trojans. I'll go ahead and start us off, and I think we saw who Illinois really is. I think we did. I've got the Trojans to win and cover on the road. It'd be 2 straight home losses for the Illini.
You want to try that again?
Nope.
Okay. Here's the thing. Spikes asks a very important question in the chat. Is that a noon game? That is a noon game. It is
a noon game, which I'm surprised.
9 o'clock body clock for USC?
10 o'clock, Jared.
No, it's 9 o'clock. Illinois. No, Illinois is central. My bad.
They are. You darn
10
East
o'clock
Coast person.
But still, 10 o'clock body clock, still not great.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's going to cause USC to lose. I am surprised that USC was favored by that much to begin with. Give me Illinois.
All right. And Odin is going with you, Jared, and is picking the team in orange, Illinois. All right. Next up here,
I think
3:30 kickoff.
Let me say this. I've just real quick. I've been pumping the brakes on Illinois all season. I also don't like USC that much. For the record. That's it.
LSU on the roll. Let me try that again. LSU on the road to take on Ole Miss. LSU is on the road an underdog by 1.5 points. I believe, Jared, it is your turn. So who do you got in this one? You got Ole Miss 1.5, or do you got LSU to cover?
Yeah. I think LSU has their offensive issues. Don't get me wrong. They're flawed. But I get to pick them as an underdog against an Ole Miss team that I also don't like that much. I'm gonna take LSU as a dog.
You know who Lane Kiffin reminds me of, Jared?
I can think of several answers to that. I don't know how many of them are appropriate for the podcast.
He is the SEC's version of James Franklin. I feel that he struggles to win the big games. He has good talent, but just struggles. He wins some games, but when the games really come down and really matter to win, he struggles. And I feel this is another one of those games that should win here, and to elevate the Rebels to a potential playoff berth here. But I just have no faith in Lane Kiffin. Like he just hasn't really proven as a head coach to really win the big ones consistently. So I got LSU to cover in this one.
I'll point out that he struggled to win the big one as an offensive coordinator too, as Ohio State fans might remember.
Yeah.
Odin is also taking LSU.
He is, yes. I gotta go back to the tab here. All right. Indiana coming off the big win on the road against Illinois. On the road again. This time to Iowa City. Taking on the Hawkeyes. Indiana, only a 7.5 point victory when they had that throbbing, 7.5 point favorite. Yep. Even after that throbbing of a beatdown against Illinois last weekend. It is my pick.
Your turn.
I don't think that's enough. I think Indiana's got the offense. They just got it going on offense here, and Iowa's not going to be able to put up enough points. So I will take the Hoosiers.
He wins. Google him.
He does what? Yeah. And Odin also
give me Sig and the Indiana boys.
And the Odin also picks the Hoosiers as well.
Kyle, are we gonna have one difference this entire week?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out here. Oregon on the road to Happy Valley. Night game in Happy Valley. Penn State, 3.5 point favorites at home. So what Vegas is telling us here, Jared, is that at a neutral site, Penn State is a 6 point favorite. Oh no! I'm sorry. No, I got that backwards. Okay, so it is. Yep, it's a pick'em then.
It's a neutral site pick'em according to Vegas math.
Yes. Okay. All right. Who do you got, Jared? Do you have?
This is not a neutral site pick'em in my opinion. I think Oregon is much better. You've already mentioned James Franklin's propensity for losing the games that matter the most. I think this team has severe issues on the offense. I think Oregon has some defensive issues, but I don't think Penn State's equipped to take advantage of them.
Especially what we've seen so far early on here. They need to get it together here. And from what I've seen as well, I think the Ducks get it done on the road. So I'll pick the Ducks as well. And Odin, also Jared, agrees with us.
This is I just don't like the spread of this chart. It doesn't make me feel good.
Odin is just sticking with you for every game here. So we'll go to the last one here. See if we can separate. Alabama on the road taking on Georgia. 3.5 point favorite for the Dogs at home. It is my pick, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just a gut feeling here. I think this is just going to be the game to watch this weekend. I know that you got Oregon and Penn State at the same time, but
I think Oregon destroys Penn State.
I think this is going to be just down to the wire, finger biting type of game here. So just a very scrappy type of game. So I will pick Alabama with those points there. Maybe not to win. I know. Maybe not to win, but at least to cover.
Listen, I know Saban's not there anymore, so I get Bama and points. Isn't quite as exciting as it was a couple years ago, but still, I get Alabama and points. Alabama and points.
Yeah. And Odin has his vote all the way over to the Dogs.
All right.
I got a nice trend. There, Jared.
Kyle, you went 100% with the away teams.
I did.
You went 100% away teams. And by the way, I only took one home team, so I'm not even all that different.
A bold strategy. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. All right. With the very limited time we have left here, Jared, let's do a chaos pick.
Yeah. Chaos. Oh, nope. That's a preview for next episode.
I want to
It is
see.
time to do chaos theory.
Yeah. All right. So
I already have just real quick. I already have Odin's up here.
Yep.
He's taking Utah State to get the upset over Vanderbilt. I do not dislike that pick at all. I think that's a solid pick.
Yeah, I think that might be a pretty close game. What is that? 21.5 points for Vanderbilt. Ooh.
Listen,
yeah. I'd take those points.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't know. I don't know if Utah State's going to pull that off or not. In fact, I'm pretty sure they won't. I may have just been being nice to Odin. But for 21.5 points?
Sure.
I'll let you know, Kyle. I am picking.
Don't you dare.
Well, I don't know what you don't want me to dare, but I'm going to go with Auburn. They're playing number 9. If you could remind me what those points are, I'd appreciate that. They're playing number 9 Texas A&M, who I am
17
not a fan
points. 17 points. On the road at Kyle Field, which I will say is a great name for a field. Mm-hmm. 17 points. I have Jared. I still have him as my dark horse of great quarterbacks that I enjoy. He had a great year last year. He's off to an okay to solid start. Undefeated this year, going on the road, taking on another undefeated team.
Okay.
Noah Fifita.
Yeah.
And those Arizona Wildcats upsetting the Cyclones of Iowa State.
I like that pick.
And that, Jared, if I'm looking at the points there, not as much as yours, but it would be 12 points if the Wildcats come up with that victory.
All right. Once again, Odin is predicting Utah State to pull the upset. Kyle's predicting Arizona to pull the upset. And I am picking Auburn to pull the upset. All right. That, Kyle, I think is it for this episode of the Sloopcast, unless you have something in Kyle's corner.
No, I don't think so. I think this was a weekend a lot of people had circled on their calendars. A lot of big games here. Obviously, the last two that we talked about there, big games. So yeah, I think this would be a fun weekend to get your chores done in the morning, grab something good for lunch, sit down, watch the Ohio State game, and then get to enjoy some two really tough teams going at it, or 2 games with 4 teams going right at it.
There you go.
Nothing else.
Tonight's ending music brought to you by an Ohio-based band called Motorbike, spelled exactly the way you would expect the word motorbike to be spelled. That's if you're asking for my 2 cents on it, and no one is, that's not great SEO, but it's a good familiar name. But that's the name of tonight's band. As always, if you're watching us on YouTube, we don't actually play the music at the end of the show. However, if you go down to the show notes, there is in fact a link to the song. If you're listening to the audio version of that, the song is already playing, maybe. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course support local podcasters. Once again, this is Motorbike.